Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We are commenced considering Niyamas of Ashtanga Yoga, and in the previous session we saw that as ahimsa is pervasive step in yamas, Shaucha here is a pervasive step in Niyamas. So, if you go by literal meanings, we will not find any clue for this particular position that Shaucha is pervasive and it pervades all the 5 Niyamas. But if you go by the meaning of Shaucha that comes in ethico-religious system called Dharma Neeti or Aachaar Dharma Neeti Pranali practices, then we will be able to arrive at such conclusions. And that is the quintessential meaning of Niyamas here. It is not that it is as it literally means, not to go by Shaucha as cleanliness or Shaucham as hygiene, but much more than that. So these niyamas can be seen that they start working right from the plane of body, because if the Shaucha is cleanliness, we have to easily circumscribe, and we will easily circumscribe the body at its purity or cleanliness. So right from body, we will see that the Shaucha extends to core consciousness. So just as in case of yamas, we consider the dimension of Kaayaa, Vaachaa, Manasaa, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Similarly, with regards to Shaucham, because it is Adhyatmic realm, we will have to consider it Kaayaa, Vaachaa, Manasaa, Shaucham. And all these practices of Niyamas also, it could be Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwarpranidhana. It is all Kaayaa, Vaachaa, Manasaa. This perspective is so important in Adhyatma. So, if we take Shaucha commencing from the plane of body, which is cleanliness and hygiene, then the Shaucha square itself is Santosha. Santosha is not just psychological contentment, but Santosham itself is further magnification of Shaucham. The purity itself for mankind would lead into Santosham. Because it can be also easily imagined that contentment cannot be dirt of the mind. Contentment should be some kind of cleanliness and purity in the mind, without which we cannot expect the Santosha, as it would literally mean contentment in the mind. So contented mind is also kind of cleaner mind rather than dirtier mind. So it is interesting to understand this perspective that the Shaucha square or Shaucha raised to 2 would be Santosha. And then the next Niyama is Tapas. So this tapas is not just austerity or rigorosity in austerity, etc. It is a yogic tapa. It is tapas in yoga, which stands out from the tapas done outside the realm of yoga. Because outside the realm of yoga, usually discontent leads to austerities. Discontentment in mind leads to some rigorosity in practices. Something is rigorously taken up. So, the tapas that comes in Dharmashastra will come in the discipline of karma, will come in the discipline of jnana. So there it is discipline, and then it is forced kind of austerity. But here in yoga, yoganga tapas must be always kept separate and distinct from the concept of tapas that one can arrive at in human endeavor, because tapas can be done for various purposes. The Kaayaa, Vaachaa, Manasaa tapas could take place, which in the guna classification Bhagavad Gita tells us about sattvic, rajasic, tamasic tapas. So the tapas will come in so many places. But tapas that comes in yoga is evolved form of Shaucham. And basically, because this tapas of dharma and tapas of yoga is to get rid of dirt in the psyche and consciousness, the mind, psyche and consciousness, what is called as Chita Mala, Mano Mala. The dirt is overcome, and that is major purport of tapas. Why tapas is performed in dharma? Why tapas is performed in yoga? Why tapas is performed in Adhyatma? Why tapas is performed in spiritual endeavor is to overcome the dirt in the mind, psyche, consciousness. It is cleansing of consciousness, cleansing of the mind stuff. So mathematically it can be put that Shaucha raised to 4 is a kind of tapas in Niyamas. So, as one should be aware that there is mention of Bhaya Shaucham and Antara Shaucham, and reference was made to this towards the end of last session. So the Antara Shaucha would be Shaucha, would be furthermore purity of Shaucha, purity in the form of Shaucha. Bhaya Shaucha, Bhaya Shaucha and Abhyantara Shaucha, we can see the escalation in Shaucha. Then in Santosha there is further escalation in Shaucha. That's why I said mathematically it can be hypothetically said to be Shaucha raised to 4. If Santosha is Shaucha raised to 2, then this is Shaucha raised to 4. And then the next one comes in the form of Swadhyaya. So Swadhyaya would be Shaucha raised to 8, because this Swadhyaya is Mantra Japa. The mantra is something that would be purifying the psyche consciousness. That's why there is a reference to Pavitra Mantra Japa in Vyasa's commentary. Pavitra, Pavitriyam is Exalted Shaucham. Mokshshastra Adhyayanam or Brahmavidya, Atmavidya, Yogvidya Adhyayanam. This would be Swadhyaya, and therefore it is also exalted form of Shaucham. And of course Ishwarpranidhana is supreme form of Shaucham. So it would be Shaucham raised to 6. So Shaucham Then greater Shaucham, that is Santosha. Greater and greater Shaucham, that is Tapas. Greater and greater Tapas, Shaucham would be Swadhyaya. Greater and greater Shaucham would be Ishwarpranidhana. So that will give us some idea about what form of Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwarpranidhana would be in Ashtanga Yoga and Niyamas, in Niyamangas. Whereas elsewhere, you won't relate Shaucham to Swadhyayam, Shaucham to Tapas, Shaucham to Ishwarpranidhanam. We think these are separate practices. Shaucha is one column, Santosha is another column, Tapas is another column, Swadhyaya another column, Ishwarpranidhana another column. We don't see the integral aspects, integrated aspects. But yoga itself means integration, integrated practices. And therefore, with that, in the light of that definition of yoga, which is all integral process, we can understand the niyamas here, and that would be more important to understand the characteristics and salient features of Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwarpranidhana, the rest of the four niyamas. And then it would prove that the Shaucham gets more and more magnified, Shaucham gets more and more escalated, augmented progressively. So they are all Shaucha forms. Like in case of Ahimsa, we were told that Satya is a greater form of Ahimsa, then Asteya, then the Brahmacharya and Aparigraha. The Ahimsa becomes more and more bloomed and blossomed in subsequent yamas. So also here, Shaucha gets more and more bloomed and blossomed in subsequent niyamas. So the niyamas have potentials to take mankind to ultimate acme conditions of human spiritual samambonam. So niyamas are so pervasive that niyamas will take you, or the Shaucham itself of niyama will take you to ultimate step and ultimate stage in human spiritual endeavor. It would land human being at a plane which is called samambonam of human life. So that's how we have to understand the niyamas. So man from human plane will ascend to celestial plane in psyche, consciousness, conduct. So man will have a sojourn from human plane called Manavi plane to Mahamanavi plane to Daivi plane. So man can evolve. Man need not be just remaining as a human being. Human being can escalate, can climb up, can evolve and graduate to the plane of Mahamanava. Mahamanava is word used for exalted human beings. We are godly, who are godly human beings. They are next to God, they are almost God. That is Mahamanav. And then Daivi Stara, Daivi plane, a godly plane. So niyamas have power to take man from human plane to ultimate plane of human spiritual endeavor. So Daivitvam, Devatvam, Brahmatvam is possible in mankind. Like Upanishads declare Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. Brahmavid, one who knows Brahman, will become Brahma. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. So, that is the supreme ladder on which human being can be reaching. Supreme rung in the ladder of human spiritual evolvement. So Niyamas have that potential to take man to ultimate stage, acme conditions in human form of manifestation. Now, that is why these principles are totally different than moral ethical principles, or what we call as civilized person. What is civilized person? Civilized person is so tagged because of behavior, and behavior is something which is quite superficial. It is the face value of mankind. One can be behaving well, although not really good in conduct. So behavior is a mask, and the modern world is speaking about everyone improving the behavior. Improving behavior, it is not really being an improved being. Your plane of being might be low, maybe very low, very mean, but then you can put on a mask. And behaviors are always like this. Behavior is a social face of a person. Behavior is always judged from the social face of a person as to how a person conducts himself with reference to society around him. So, more often in behavior, there is a deception. It is possible to be in pseudo behavior, and the whole world will believe that you are very good behavior, one with very good behavior. They will believe, the world will believe that you have good behavior, but you may not be good, because it's just to put on a mask, because it's a social face. So in social condition, we always try to have a facelift. So the behavior is not being stressed in Yama Niyamas. Otherwise, that's why people tend to mistake Patanjali's Yama Niyamas as something to make someone civilized. I told you sometimes back while dealing with Yamas that it went to an extent that some people started thinking that Patanjali was in a time, in an era where the people were wild, and therefore he had to advise them, practice ahimsa, etc., etc. So it is not that way right to be taking that these are moral ethical principles. Morality, ethicality usually have a social reference. When a person is isolated, or there is no requisition of being moral and being ethical. Morality and ethicality comes when you are interacting with social component or society itself. And in human manifestation, this is so true that human being can have two faces. Man always can put on masks and project as if one is civilized, one is cultured, while innately person may not be cultured. So this dual behavior or double-mindedness is possible to life form in human being state. We don't see these deceptions in subhuman beings. They are what they are. They don't have double face. But human being is such a being that human being can have two faces. So, like concept of civilized person, civilization or civilized status of a person will be more often a semblance. It will be a deceptive. So therefore we have to know the difference between a cultured person and civilized person. Because we are used to both expressions, somebody is very cultured. So what is being cultured and what is being civilized? What is the culturally better person and better person in civil sense, civilization? So, although man is taught do's and don'ts, man can be deceptive. Man can show that the don'ts are in practice, and perhaps the people around that person will believe that the person is adhering to don'ts. But it is possible that there is deceiving. One may not be in don'ts, yet project to be in don'ts. One can project to be in do's, while actually may not be in do's. Because we always have concealed aspect of our life, which is only typical to human beings. No other beings have this double face. They are what they are, they project what they are, we project what we are not more often. Or we project ourselves better than what we are, or sometimes even we project what we are, which actually we are not. So there is a lot of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is a word which comes only for human psyche. And therefore we have to understand about the yamas and niyamas that they should be genuine, and not that one is projected to be in all practices of yamas and all practices of niyamas, or all practices of restraints and all practices of observances. One has to be in those practices and not project to be in those practices. Man can project. Okay, now particularly in our times, which is highly polluted in every sense, in every aspect. It is not that we only have air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, but we have pollution within ourselves. Man himself is a polluting agent, and we look at other things as polluting agent, that this is why the air is polluted, this is why the water is polluted, this is why the earth is polluted, etc. Now we are in such a era, we are so much in pollution that we have allergy for purity. It is very strange that some people suffer in pure air because they are used to polluted air. So people are seen suffering when they are given pure air. Pure water will create a problem for them. They are used to consume the water which is not that pure. So the point is, in our times we are starting to develop allergy for pure, allergy for good, allergy for merit. So we are in very unfortunate situation, and Therefore, the purity attains greater importance in our times, because we are totally soaked in impurity from all sides and in all. And in our times, we have allergy for genuine jnana. We have allergy for genuine bhakti. We have allergies for genuine values. All those great eternal values. Today we have allergies for all those. This is the characteristic condition of the dark era called Kali Yuga. So dharma, adhyatma, paramartha, we cannot really put up with those things. This is what is our condition that we very well know today. We cannot put up with something pure form of jnana, yoga, bhakti, or adhyatmic mulya, spiritual values. So we have allergies for dharma itself now. So in order to overcome this, the allergy condition, and whenever we have allergies, we want to take some antidotes and be free from allergies. When there are pathies to overcome allergies, if you have allergy for something like smell, odor, etc., then we want a remedial, because then so that we are not bothered to overcome that lack of resistance in us. So we come across these allergy treatments today in pathology and in medical systems. So for a spiritual pursuant, if there is allergy for jnana, karma, dhyana, bhakti, dharma, adhyatma, you would understand the problem to carry out any pursuit. And therefore, yoga does something that you overcome the allergies that you have for pure values. Because in our times, we have a lot of allergies for pure values, because we are so much used to impure values, which are no values at all. They have become values. And without that, we feel breathless. Like some people who are used to be in crowded areas, some crowded metropolitan cities are there. So those people, you take them to hill stations, they are little at discomfort because they are used to. Or maybe a day they will put up with that clean condition, quiet condition, serene condition. But no sooner they will start feeling that they should get back to the hubbub of their town. So this is what has happened to us. We have got used to so much called himsa, asatya, steya, brahmacharya, parigraha, Shaucha, etc. So if we do not return back to that chaotic condition, we are uncomfortable. So it's all okay, like holiday. Just like we take holidays, once in a week holiday. As a holiday, we would like to have such sublime conditions for a day or two. So, but no longer we will be able to put up with it, and we want to come back to hubbub, we want to come back to chaos. So yoga develops that kind of condition in you that you will be able to adjust yourself, and then you will be able to have compatibility with yourself with purer states, and you will try to persevere there. That is very important. So These Niyamas are not only practices, but they will make you more inclined to such practices. So you will become more and more tuned to nobler states of life, nobler practices in life. So that is what yoga does. So anyway, the enunciation had to be continued even today. Now we come to the Shaucha, the first of the Niyamas, where there are two layers of Shaucha. Bhaya Shaucha and Abhyantara Shaucha. Now with very concept of Bhaya Shaucha and Abhyantara Shaucha, you realize that these are not just hygiene and cleanliness. Particularly Abhyantara Shaucha, internal purity, it is not hygienic concept. Hygiene only comes to something that is peripheral, superficial, manifestation of human embodiment, clean body, appearance of body clean. And then of course appearance of mind clean. People are thinking to have appearance of mind clean so that they get some value in society. Nobody works for intrinsic value of the mind these days. But Abhyantara Shaucha is something deeper, so it is more essential. And therefore, it is not just cleanliness and hygiene. So, Patanjali has expressly mentioned the two layers of Shaucha called Bhaya Shaucha and Abhyantara Shaucha. Now, he doesn't specify as to what is Bhaya Shaucha, but he tells us by Bhaya Shaucha what happens and by Abhyantara Shaucha what happens. This is great skill of a forest. It doesn't mention that this is what is Bhaya Shaucha and this is what is Abhyantara Shaucha. He mentions about the consequence of Bhaya Shaucha practices as to what it would result into, and Abhyantara Shaucha similarly. So Bhaya Shaucha effectively, consequentially is described by Swanga Jugupsa Paraihi Asamsargaha. So that is how he describes the Bhaya Shaucha. And with Abhyantara Shaucha, although he doesn't mention the process of it, he mentions the effect of it. Sattva Shuddhi, Saumya Manas, Ekagra, Indriya Jaya, Atma Darshana Yogyatvanisha. So it is we who have to deduce, extrapolate as to what is Bhaya Shaucha and what is Abhyantara Shaucha. So point is, Patanjali has mentioned two planes of Shaucha, two fronts on which the Shaucha has to be practiced. Now, this being spiritual pursuit, we very well understand how greatly important is Abhyantara Shaucham. In spiritual pursuit, the internal Shaucham gains paramount importance. Now this is beyond any argument. There can be no argument to this. And yoga being Adhyatma sadhana, the Abhyantara Shaucha scores what can be called as Ananya Sadharana Mahatvam. It becomes exceptionally important, greatly important aspect. So it is placidity of the mind. Abhyantara Shaucha is placidity of the mind, cosmos condition of the mind, serene, clean, transparent condition of the mind. And since yoga is dealing with Chitta Vritti and Chitta Samskriti, one can easily understand how the Shaucha scores great and great importance. However, the Bhaya Shaucha is also quite pervasive. It goes beyond what the hygiene circumscribes. Yoga goes even a step beyond. It is clean corporeal matter. Otherwise, cleanliness is something appearanceable, where you can identify somebody is clean and somebody is not clean. How do you do that? It is by appearanceable judgment. You look at the appearanceable form and then you say, yes, this is being clean and this is not being clean. This is unclean. But the Shaucham, Bhaya Shaucham of Patanjali is not just our cleanliness concept and our hygienic concept. It goes well beyond, far beyond. Anyway, coming to the first layer of it is Bhaya Shaucham. So Bhaya Shaucham is not only for the body, but even if it is taking place, executionally taking place on the plane of body, it also gives a mind elation. Simple thing that if you had good Shaucha, as it is in vernacular expression, that is a good toilet engagement. So when you have good toilet engagement, you come out and you definitely have a placidity of the mind, comfort of the mind, ease of the mind, delight of the mind. The mind is delighted. Mind is light. Mind gets a benefit of you having a good toilet engagement. So Bhaya Shaucha also can work on the mind, and this is testified by everyone. Even after taking bath, taking bath in bathroom is not just cleaning the Cuterian plane, the skin of the body, but even after having taken a bath, we certainly have elated mind, lighter mind, placid mind, more positive state of mind. Rather than not having taken bath, the moment we take bath, we definitely feel some kind of elation, delight, happiness, positive state in mind. So that is why there is a word called snanam, and not just a shower. So even Bhaya Shaucha on the plane of hygiene, even it can work on the mind. So anyway, how is this Bhaya Shaucham? We'll take Vyasa's comment here, which describes it, and we'll end the session today here, and we'll proceed on this tomorrow. So Vyasa says, Bhaya Shaucham is Mrut Jaladi Janitam. Mrut Jaladi Janitam. That means it is through water and other elements, substances which clean the body. In older times, the mrut, a particular kind of earth, sand, like even today in subcontinent of India, we have concept of multani mitti, and then that is cleansing agent. So today we are used to some soaps and such substances, shampoos and soaps with which we clean our body. So these are the agents with which we clean our body, and in ancient times They were not using the soaps that we are using today, but it was Brud Jaladi Jalitam. And also Abhyavaharanam, clean clothes, wearing washed and clean clothes. And also Ahara, Grahanam, Khadanam, a good, healthy, clean food and proper eating of the food. Eating proper food and eating food properly. So, Bhaya Shaucha includes all these aspects in Vyasa's comment. So, let us proceed from here in our next session. So, enough for typing. Namaskar all of you.